Hello, my name is Katie Fassett. If you're new here, I am a mom of 4 boys. I'm from southern Minnesota and I'm married to my husband Scott for almost 10 years now, and he's actually back in school right now to become a pastor. So that is the season of life that we're in. And what I do is help women find their beautiful after baby, whether that is finding their style or finding a routine, finding a morning routine that works for them now since they're a mom, because we're always evolving, we're always changing, whether you're kids are going to school now, or you're pregnant again, or you're postpartum, motherhood is consistently changing. Every year, you're a new mom because you've never been a mom to this many kids with this many age differences. Like, it's always changing. And so my job is just to help you find your rhythm again through faith and fitness. And I host a membership where we talk all things motherhood and we encourage each other along the way. So check it out. It's called Beautiful After Baby, and I'm super proud of it. So I hope that you give it a shot. If not, I like to come in here and just share the real talk. And today we are going to get into the real talk. We are going to talk about the red flags that I should have seen coming, but I didn't see coming. And now maybe this will help you see some red flags that are maybe going on in your life or in your company, and shed a little light on why maybe you see the red flags, but your friend who is in the situation doesn't. And it can be for many reasons, as you will see. So let's get into it. Before we get into this, I just want to say that this isn't about bashing MLMs. This isn't about bashing people who are in MLMs or those who are participating in it now. It truly changed my life. It got me into healthier habits. It created a community. I do what I do now because of my experience as a body partner. So I don't know if I mentioned that before, but we're going to be talking about Beachbody. Now it's called Body, but I was in it for 6 years, from 2018 to 24 when it shut down. And there were some red flags in 23 to 24 that I just didn't see. So that's what we're going to talk about. But let's just first start with some of the first red flag that I saw was the culture shift. When I first joined, having people join your group, join, rank up, get to elite, all of those things, it just felt like it just eventually happened. It was around 23 to 24 where it just got really hard. And to be honest, I didn't quite feel that in 21, 22 when other people were feeling it. So a lot of people got out in like 22 and 23. I didn't quite feel that because I had a huge boost to my Instagram following, to my business. I was really getting into a stride. I had some awesome, amazing women join my team and we were running together. As they say, we ran together. I wasn't quite feeling it. So when people would come and they would complain, like, it's so much harder to have people sign up, like, it's the incentives are different, I didn't see it. I was just kind of like, well, it's working for me. In that world, if things aren't working for you, it's a you thing. Like, you're not working hard enough. You haven't done enough personal development. Well, maybe you're not working out enough. Maybe you're not eating healthy enough. Have you been sleeping well? Like, it's always on you. So in my mind, if someone was struggling, I was just like, oh, well, you need to do more PD, personal development. You need to do that. So I'm not going to let that negative energy get to me. But that was something that I noticed. And it started to feel like corporate was doing more things for themselves without asking partners. Like, they would run sales or they would do these things where we were like, did you talk to any Beachbody partner? Like, did you talk to any of us to see if this would be a good idea? It's like it felt like a lot of money grab things from Beachbody. And at the time, I was just like, whatever, like 23 and 24, we moved while I was pregnant. I was 20 weeks pregnant and over 20 weeks pregnant. And we moved to a new town for my husband to go back to school. So he had quit his job to go back to school. I'm working this as my full-time job. I'm a mom of 3 boys Otto was not even quite 6 yet. And so I have 3 boys, 5 and under, and I'm pregnant with my 4th. So all these things, it was just noise. Like, I wasn't like, ooh, analyzing everything. I was just like, I love what I do. The women in my community are getting results. I'm getting results. It's keeping me active. I'm getting paid for it. It's something that I love. I'm not going to sweat the small stuff. Okay. So now looking back, I'm like, oh my goodness, red flag. But at the time, I was just like, yeah, that's annoying, but whatever. Just going to move on with my life. So the corporate changes was the first red flag. And corporate wasn't quite listening to what we actually needed and what their customers were saying. They were just kind of going rogue and doing their own thing. And it stopped feeling like we had any say in what was to come. The next red flag was the rebrand confusion. So even as I'm telling the story, I'm like, Beachbody. I mean, now it's Body, but it was just, it just didn't work. Okay. And at the time, I just felt like we're, forward thinking. And I never really liked the Beachbody name anyways. I mean, truly, I didn't like it. I always felt kind of silly being like, yeah, I'm a Beachbody coach. Because if you look at me, I'm not that kind of girl. I live in Minnesota. I don't even live by beaches. I mean, there's a lot of lakes, but I don't even really go in the lakes. Okay. So I'm more of a hiking, bike riding, rollerblading, walking type of gal. I don't really go near the water because then I get sunburned. Okay, moving on. Beachbody wasn't really my thing. So when they were going to change it to Body, I was just totally fine. And at the time, Beachbody on demand we just called it BOD, was $99 for the year. Well, then they opened up the separate thing that was Body, and it was like Beachbody on Demand Interactive. That's what it stood for, Body. And so there was this like separate thing that you could buy. So some people were doing that, or you would sign up and then you would get like Body for free or like first month free. So they kind of had that going on. I just realized I didn't have my light on. I should get my light. Here it is. This will help. I think this will help give some. Does that do anything? I don't know if that helps at all. Whatever. So they had Beachbody Interactive going on, and it would come with your pack. And some people were getting into it, and it was live workouts. You could join live. Well, then they merged those two things together and they upped the price from $99 a year to $179 a year. And they marketed it as this like amazing deal. This is wonderful. Along with this combination, we are also going to change the name to Body. And they had like a whole night where it was like a red carpet event, and they encouraged partners to host events. And I think my upline, I think she did a red carpet event. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I for sure got on a Zoom call with all of my girls, and we were like, yeah, Body. And Carl Deichler, he, shared how awesome this is that we're going to be Body now. And like I said, at the time I was like, this is great. We're moving forward, like Beachbody, that kind of has a bad stigma because no one, it should be more about just feeling good. And so then they started getting into this, like, we're all about health esteem and eat more dessert and have your Shakeology every day and eat more dessert. But it just wasn't quite jiving because people who joined Body, I think we knew, or Beachbody, we knew that this was tough, but we wanted the challenge. Like we wanted the 21-day fix, 21 workouts in a row. We wanted the morning meltdown 100 workouts in a row. So it was like we were known for these tougher programs and really challenging yourself. And all of a sudden it was like, we're going to do for beginners only and eat dessert every day. And so if the company had always started out that way, like I actually am all for that. I think it's great. I think we need to have all kinds. I've never done Insanity. I've never done P90X. I know. Okay. I admitted it. But I actually like that. Like I like that it was like health esteem. Like this makes sense. But I think for the brand, like for my community, it was great. I think for a lot of other partners and coaches, it was not good. Like they were the coaches who were like, no, we're going to get 6-pack abs and we are going to work our butts off and we are going to sweat and we're going to have 6-packs. So when it was like health esteem, I think there was just this disconnect with a lot of people and it turned off a lot of people. So that should have been a red flag because I felt like they were too late on the body positivity movement. Like that was more of a 2018, 2021 thing. And then it kind of like, then all of a sudden we're in, 2023, 2022, we're like changing it to Body because nobody liked it. It's like you were late. Like we should have been doing this way before that. Like we should have been doing this in the 2010s and then we maybe would have been ahead of the curve. So it just felt like moves were being made too slow, but like we would celebrate it because we're like, this is great, but it just didn't do the thing. So that was a red flag number 2. Let's get into red flag number 3. As I started to move up in the ranks, so to speak, I just noticed that people who had been there for years but maybe weren't at the same rank, had dropped rank, hadn't hit elite, you were just kind of treated like crust of the earth. dust of the earth, not good enough. And I saw friends of mine go through that, and like the toll that it took on your mental health to feel that way, to feel like I'm on top of the world and I'm elite and I'm recognized and corporate recognizes me, to all of a sudden like, yeah, you're kind of a loser now. Like it felt very backwards, because a lot of the time elite didn't even mean you were making more money. And it just felt like there was people who could like rig the system, so to speak. I remember hearing a story about a top partner. So there's this rank called 15 superstar. The bonuses you can get for that, I can talk about this now because we're not even an MLM anymore. So we're affiliate marketing. The bonuses you could make as a 15 superstar was like 50 to 80,000 to sometimes 100,000 or more a quarter for that bonus, just for the bonus for one quarter. And so there were some ladies who would do that, but they would just have the same 15 people in their downline, and they would push. So you only needed to hold that rank 6 weeks out of a quarter all together in order to qualify for this. So there was this one coach that I heard of, and everyone was like praising this because when those 6 weeks would come up, she would tell all of her girls, she'd be like, you need to hold this to hold diamond. So she needed 15 of her people to hold diamond. Okay, that was what she needed to do. And diamond means you have 12 people underneath you who are actively ordering Shakeology, whatever. So I don't even know, I can't even do the math on that. Okay, do the math. Anyway, so she had 15 times 12, 200, whatever. Anyways, I should be able to do math, but for some reason now I'm just like thrown on the spot and I'm nervous. So she would every single quarter have say like, hey, we're going to do a trip and I'll pay for the trip, like to host it, but you just have to hold diamond for 6 weeks. And so these girls would do that, and then they would get a trip out of it, and then she would get her $80,000 bonus. And maybe she had to fork out $10,000 for the trip. I don't know. But it just felt like, I don't know, because you're preached like, build new leaders and help people. It's like, well, that doesn't, I don't know. It's like, that doesn't really feel like you're helping people. I mean, they did it willingly. So these are like the questions that roll in my mind. Let me know what you think of that story. Are you just like, no, that's cool. Like, good for her. She figured out what works. Or are you like, that's weird? Like, I don't know. It starts to feel so self-serving as you get to these top ranks, when you're always like sisterhood and we help each other and all rising tide lifts all ships. I don't know. There's just something weird. So that was a red flag for me, when I just felt like if you're not on the up and up, you are treated like trash. You're not asked to be on calls. You're not asked to be on people really kind of don't really want to be around you because they don't want that negative energy. And I just really saw that the last few years, because there was a lot of people who things had just changed. Things were just hard, and new partners weren't having the success that they were back when I started. Like, it was so hard to help 3 people a month. So hard. I didn't have that issue because of just the systems that I had and the following that I have. But so many of my new partners, I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like, am I just a really crappy leader? It was just hard. And the market was so oversaturated. Didn't even realize it. So anyways, that was red flag, was just the way that you were treated if you weren't always 15 superstar mega million person. Okay, let's go to red flag number 4. So towards the end, it's so funny to think of, because they would do these calls with like 1 star or above, or like 5 star and above partners, and they would have corporate people on these calls. And now looking back, I'm like, this is so funny, because we would come to them with genuine concerns. We would say like, hey, the branding is just old. We need to get into, what people actually want. The main market is women, a lot of moms. So like, can we market more towards that? Like, everything just feels very masculine, and we just feel like we need to just kind of get with the times as far as the marketing and the color scheme and all of that. So we would have concerns like that. We would have concerns about just helping our teams win. And they would always say like, oh, yeah, I know, we're working on that. Or like, you got to remember, like Carl Deichler, infomercials. So that's how he started. That's how our CEO started, was with infomercials. And so that was their excuse, is like, well, this is just what he's used to. So it's kind of kitschy, and, we just kind of have to go with it because he's the CEO. And so it felt like anyone who tried to kind of stir the pot and be like, hey, can we change things? Like, hey, things kind of stink right now. Like, hey, everybody's having a rough time out there. Like, what can we do to help you help us so we can help more people? And, make more money for all of us. And it just felt like you were either like labeled as a troublemaker or just kind of like pushed out of chats because you were too negative, or you just weren't listened to. And I did see a lot of people leave. That was definitely a time where I just felt like if you weren't abiding by everything and just like, yes, you were shunned. And I will say when the comp plan changed, this will be like red flag 4.5, probably should be its own red flag, but this kind of goes with this. When anything negative happened, it felt like it was always spin to a positive. So then all of a sudden you're like, if I don't see the positive in this, I'm just a negative person. It's me. It's my problem. I'm just super negative because if I was positive, I would see the positive in this. Like when the comp plan changed, when I was 3 days postpartum, we had a comp plan change. So I wasn't really in the zone in work at that point. I had my 4th baby. I just wanted to enjoy these first 4-6 weeks without having to deal with drama. And I remember getting like text messages, and there was all these live calls and live videos, and the CEO went live, and I was getting messages from people like, oh my goodness, what do you think of the comp plan change, XYZ, blah. And I was just like, I don't even know what's happening. But essentially, they changed the comp plan so that new people had bigger bonuses and bigger wins, and that's how they kind of framed it. But your income was cut like drastically. And so it was just funny because at the time they tried to reframe it as like, but this is great because it's going to make all your like new recruits earn more, and so then they're going to want to stick around and not quit. So at the end of the day, it's actually going to make you more money and it's going to be better. And so I was like, well, like I can see that, I just rolled with it. Because your girl was postpartum, and I was just like, it's still paying me and I like it, and people are getting results and I'm getting results and I'm good at it and I'm used to it. So I'm not going to complain. This is the job. This is the income that's providing for our family. So here we are. And I just kind of let that be. But I felt like, especially at those times, tons of people left after that comp plan change. And if you were negative about it, you were just kind of like shunned or left out of the group chats, or, basically made to feel guilty for having any negative opinion about the comp plan change. The silencing of any critique was very strong. Okay. I will say there was more realism in our team, but also like we were all kind of trained the same way. Like it's like this group think, like this upline says this to this upline to this person, and just gets like trickled down. So let's go on to red flag number 5. Next red flag, I already kind of touched on it before, but just the guilt and the burnout loop that you go through when you are in an MLM. Every single month, it's just the same thing again and again. It's so much. And I just really saw my team not winning during this time. And so that was just, it just felt like anything going on in your life, like even postpartum, like you still have to show up. And I felt like if I wasn't a perfect leader, then other people weren't going to show up. And so I have to be the leader for them. So it was just this burnout loop that just happens again. And just yesterday or today is April 30th as I'm recording this. And I just had this flashback. I had written in my journal last year, I'm like, the back office is down and like everything's chaotic. And I do not miss that. I do not miss the stress of month end, trying to hit different criteria, trying to help your team hit it. It was just so much. And I see it now, how burned out I was. And gosh, is how much you are expected to do. Oh my goodness. That red flag number 5. Now let's go into red flag number 6. And this is just going to talk about just kind of the ending where Beachbody shuts down, but now we still have to go on this cruise that we earned with the CEO and with everybody else, and just the straight up awkwardness of that situation. September 30th of 24. It was afternoon. I have an 11-month-old, almost 12-month-old at this point, and I get a message from one of my close friends who's in Beachbody with me on my team. And she messages me and says, Katie, are you watching the live? Every Monday, they did this wake-up call where they would have a coach or someone who was being interviewed, and they would stream it into the partner page. It used to be on Facebook, but then they like put it in an app. She texted me and she said, Katie, have you seen Carl's live? And I was like, what? So he had said, we're canceling the wake up call and I'm just going to go live this afternoon. I didn't really think anything of it. On this live, he announces that we're changing from what we are to affiliate. What I didn't realize is that not only was it going to be affiliate, but I was losing all the customers that I had built up, like all the customer base, like all the people who order Shakeology every single month, all of that gone, taken from me. And I was watching the live and I just couldn't believe my ears, what I was hearing. And then at the same time, he's saying like, we're still going to do this cruise. So it happens on September 30th. We leave for a cruise on the 6th. Like what? On the 6th of October. So we find out 30th that evening. And then I go on this cruise. And it was one of those things where like I had already paid for the flight. They paid for everything else, but you had to pay for your flight. And there was like a couple things extra, like if you wanted to get different drink packages or whatnot, you had to pay for that. But I was going with one of my friends and CEO was there as well. And the vibes were so awkward. It was so weird. It was like they were just trying so hard to make this seem like this happy thing. And you had a whole gambit of people. You had people who had earned this for the first time and they've never been on a elite trip like this. You had people who had been in this for years and they're just like getting sloshed because they're like, I just lost my job and this stinks and whatever. And like, screw you, body. It was so weird. And I'll just never forget seeing like the CEO with his little backpack, like slurking around. And it was so funny because before then, I always thought of him as this leader, as this like pioneer. And then all of a sudden I saw him and I was like, you're just a man who's trying to run a company that's going under. You're just trying to save your butt. And Beachbody, I'm still doing the workouts and I like their products. So, I'm just finishing up lift 4. but anyways, I still like Body. I still like the programs. I still like the products. So there's just like this really weird feeling. Two things can be true at once. One, Beachbody ended things really poorly. Two, they did have some pretty great programs that I really like and that I'm still doing. And a lot of the ladies in my community are still doing them too. So do with that what you will. But I would say the weirdest thing that happened on the cruise was there was like this meeting of the minds where it was the CEO and all of the people who were able to go that were on the cruise. And the CEO, it's like they were just trying to put lipstick on a pig. Like they were like, this is going to be so great, even though you're losing all of your customer base. Like all the people who I literally, my own self, got all these customers to join me and their, monthly shipments of Shakeology or whatnot. That was the commission that I was making every single month. All of that was taken from me. So the customers that came to me, not because of you, but they came through me, now that just goes to you. So that felt very slimy, but they are a company that's just trying to save themselves. So I get it now. Like I can look at it with like, okay, this is what it is. It sucks. Like people get fired all the time. They lose their job all the time. Companies change, shift, things shift, but still doesn't mean that it was great. And I think the weirdest thing that happened on the cruise, so at this meeting of the minds, Carl Deichler, the CEO, is up at the top on the stage and he's talking about how this is supposed to be great. And they're telling all these like things on how you can make more money. And it's like we were all looking in there like it just wasn't true. Like they tried so hard to make it seem like this is so great. And then the weirdest part was when the CEO said, he's like, I'm not just gonna drag my DICK in the sand. He said the real words out. He just said it out loud. It's like, I'm just not gonna drag my in the sand. I'm gonna actually go out and do something. And he's like, this is what CEOs do. This is what we do. And he's like, if the top coaches would have been more focused on selling Beachbody rather than selling their LTK links or all their other links, well, then maybe we could have been doing better. But if they're out there promoting all these other brands instead of our brand, well, then, then we just had to end this whole thing. And it just was like, well, dude, you changed the whole comp plan last year. You consistently were taking away things from us, like any extra bonus, anything. It was like, just kidding, we changed the qualifications for that. Just kidding, you don't get that anymore. Actually, only this and this. You have to look at the stars and then do a dance and then you can get the bonus. Like everything, they try to make it so difficult at the end to make any money. So anyways, that was the weirdest part of that whole trip. but it was hilarious. And Shelby, if you're watching this, she's the one who went with me. What a memory. And I will say something else that was so funny was when we had gone on this cruise, so many of the top partners had already hopped to different MLMs within the like 5 days. They'd already hopped over to different things. So all of a sudden they're in this recruitment phase. So we're like going off to these different meetings with different top coaches that are like, hey, come to this thing. We're going to talk about this new, MLM that I'm joining. I want you to join it too. So I was a part of like these like conversations, and it was just wild. It was like the Wild West, and it was chaos. And it just kind of showed me, when you're in this, it's all about like Beachbody is the best. And people would say all the time, I bleed Beachbody blue. And then when this changed to affiliate, no one's bleeding Beachbody blue anymore. I feel like I'm like one of the last partners who, okay, that's a lie. I know more people do, but I feel like I'm one of the last ones who's actually still using the programs and the products. Like I have been testing other products, but the programs, I really like the workouts. Okay. So it was just such a crazy time to be alive, and it just felt wild. And I think that's when my eyes really started to open up, was when I saw that like people actually didn't really care about Beachbody. They just wanted to make money off people because they're already hopping to this next thing. It just felt very weird to me because Beachbody truly has changed my life. And so I wasn't so easily like, okay, hop onto the new thing, hop onto the new MLM, hop into the new company. Like that's just not how my brain operates. So I'm just going to share some of my closing thoughts, and then we can be done and wrap this up. So I think what this taught me truly, and what we would say all the time, is you have your own business. Like some people say business in a box, and like you're your own CEO. But when you're in an MLM, you're not. You're a 1099 contractor. Like you don't own your own thing. Okay. So what's been my wake up call, and now looking back on all these red flags and beating myself up for not building other things alongside it, because I poured my heart and soul into this. Okay. I poured my heart and soul into that for 6 years while having babies. I couldn't handle anything else. So I know that like I can't beat myself up because like, hey, Katie, things happen. You can't go back in time. But if I could have been building other things just for me, that I would feel in a totally different spot when the company went down. Or it's not, I mean, the company's still there, but the being a partner is gone. And so I did realize after that this community, like having other women to do life with, to do this fitness stuff with, is something that I always want to have. Like I love the women who are in my groups, and I love the women who are in Beauty After Baby with me. And I love continuing that on. And the cool thing is now when you join me, you don't have to buy Shakeology every single month. I never required that in my groups, but a lot of people did it. And so it's like, you don't have to do other things, have other stipulations. You can just be in this membership, like there's no other strings attached. Okay. And so I just found that, which is why I'm not going to another MLM, is I just want to build things that are my own thing. Okay. I don't have to listen to what corporate says. I don't have to listen to what deals they have, or if they change things, I just have to like blindly follow along. I just want to do things my own way, which is why I have my own community where we focus on fitness, faith, and fellowship, just a way to get together with other moms, because you are constantly changing in motherhood and you need that accountability. Like maybe you feel like you have a rock star routine right now. Well, throw another kid in there and you're like, oh my goodness, I don't even know what I'm doing. Or your kid's going to school and you're like, oh my goodness, or you start a new job or you lose a job and you're like, I need some accountability to just keep doing the things that I know I need to do. That's where Beauty After Baby comes in. So check it out. I'll link it below. But that community has just been so life-giving for me. And I just feel like I have really realized that it wasn't BODi that built the community that I had. It was me and the people. It was all the women who have been with me from the get-go, who are joining me now. Like that's what made it special. It wasn't that it was Beachbody. And now we don't have to feel pressure to get all the new programs or do all the new things. Like we just get to do it our own way. So, and if you are in this in-between place right now where it just feels off, maybe you're in an MLM, maybe you're in work, maybe you're in something else, you're not crazy. Those little gut nudges, intuition, listen to them. Because now looking back, I can't change things, but I maybe wouldn't have felt so silly after the fact, because that's how I really felt. I felt really stupid when it all happened. I was just like, how could you not have seen that? How could you not have seen when they changed the comp plan, when they changed the name, when they changed all the requirements, when this was happening, when they treated these people like crap who weren't doing as well as they were before? Like, all these red flags I didn't see because I just saw that this was paying me money. I'm good at it. Other people are getting results. Like, I'm just not going to think about it. Just not going to rock the boat. Okay. And now I don't know what I would have done. I can't say that. I don't know what I would have done. But if you are in this just in between season, you're not alone. And if you're looking for some community and you did really like the Beachbody products, or maybe or Beachbody programs, or maybe you're doing something else right now, come join us in Beauty After Baby. We call it BAB for short. So I'm just going to say BAB. It's just fun, and it's my own little baby. Okay. It's my little baby membership, and we're making a lot of changes, a lot of upgrades to it right now. So it's in a private app. It's just something that's totally different from anything else I've been a part of or anything with Beachbody, and it's just our own thing. So I hope that you join me. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you made it this far, please comment a boat or sunglasses or a cruise ship or a palm tree or anything that's around beachy, because this whole thing ended with a cruise. What a weird way to end a company closing. Like, what is happening? But I hope that you enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you aren't subscribed, and go check out the other videos that I have here, and like, comment, all the things. It means the world. We are building this channel into something that's going to be super fun. I cannot wait. Thanks for staying and watching this. It meant the world. I hope that you got something out of it. Would love to hear if you did. Thanks so much. Bye. See you next time.